Are we live? We're live. What's going on, everybody? A couple minutes late, I dozed off. Oh, man. Who we got here? Big Bear, what's happening, man? You see a hater? Where's there a hater? I love my haters. Where are they? Jason's Garage, Roadmaster, Ben Smith, Diamond Winnie English. Big Red Channel 20. Happy Easter, everybody. Happy Easter. Our Jewish friends, happy Passover. I don't know if do the Muslims have a holiday that goes along with all of this? I don't know, but whatever you're celebrating, happy it. Curtis, you want to borrow my Canberra removal tool? Are you near here? If you're near Murfreesboro, sure. Yes, Rodney, happy Easter to you too, my brother. Jason's. John Trudell, what's happening? Ooh, rich, creamy tobacco. Corey Gentry, Jason Fitch, Terry Tubbs, Kurt Zimmerman. I don't think I saw you there. What's happening? What's up, Mang? How's the new shop? I love the new shop. It's been a while since I've had a shop. It's losing a shop. I actually had a shop sold out from under me. The land got sold out from under me. And that's what led us to doing YouTube. So it's kind of weird to be back on a shop and doing YouTube, you know. And I have to keep reminding myself that the shop isn't a shop, it's a studio, you know, because that's really what it is. So, but it's great. Yeah, I'm loving it. It's nice to have some space. It's nice to not have everything dirty. You know, that was the biggest issue with the place that we were in. Always fighting with dirt, always fighting with dust. John Wilburn, what's going on? John Lennon, Numbnuts, Wooden Metal Garage. Mo Pardin, what's happening, brother? Did everybody have a nice holiday today? I was watching my grandkids do the Easter egg hunt. They're adorable. Zach's Mopars and mashed potatoes, yes. What's happening? Nomadic Chicagoan. Bruce W. Tony Slant 6 Miata with an M90 supercharger, right? 80 100 horsepower to Miata for cheap. There are also, okay, so let's talk about the Miata. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, let's talk about the Miata. I just said that. Let's talk about the Miata. So here's what I'm doing with this car. I see so many suggestions that people have made, and they mirror my own ideas with this, right? Throw a 4-speed in it, throw a 5-speed in it, Weber's, Hyper Pack, all sorts of things. Supercharger, turbocharger. I'm down with all of that. I don't know exactly how this project is going to evolve. But here's the thing: for expediency's sake, it's going to take me a few months to put this car together because I work by myself, and there's things that need to be done to the suspension, things that need to be done to the rear suspension. There's a torque arm on a Miata. I need to figure out how to go around, rewiring the car a little bit. So what I'm going to do, for expediency's sake, just so that like this thing isn't just like an ongoing forever project, is I'm going to put it together with just a Super 6 intake on the 170 with a torque flight. It will get a stick. There's no question about it. But by the time I'm done sorting everything out, clutch linkage, we're making a hydraulic deal and the whole thing, there's fitting linkage. It's just more. It's more expedient to put the car together, test the concept to make sure it's something that can be worked with, that should be worked with, and then from there, yeah, I'm down with adding all sorts of things. I would like a T5 on it somewhere down the road. I don't know about a supercharger, but a turbocharger is definitely a possibility. You know, but we need to figure out the basics. So I'm going to put the car together and get it running and driving with a very simple setup with the torque flight, and then we'll evolve the car as we go along. Does that make any sense? Matthew B, thank you, sir. Yeah, I had a great I just had a great holiday with my grandkids. We just came from there a few minutes ago. Um, Tony, you lost a Miata experience, and now it's just another Slant Six experience. No, how do you figure? I mean, it's the car. It's still 80%, 75% Miata. It's still a tiny, you know, Japanese pseudo, British sports car. And I'm putting a slant down. I'm putting an inline six in it like a Jaguar would have had, or a TR6. I'm not really altering the Miata experience any. Jerry Franks, a meet and greet. Are you coming for that? We're going to have fun with that. What's going on, Larry Mitchell? Ben Smith, the amount of money this Miata will cost. Car cost me $200. Motor and transit cost me $125. I'm thinking with paint, because I'm going to do the body and the paint on the car too. I'm thinking we're probably going to be into it for around $1,500 to $2,000 or thereabouts. So is that a 727? No, a 904. 727 is way too bulky. It'd be a 904. Laurel Flynn, how about an update on Kiwi? I was at Kiwi's about 3 weeks ago. He's slammed. He's absolutely, positively slammed. But he's doing good. His knees, he's walking mostly without a limp now. He's getting around. So he's just, he's Kiwi. Ajax, you love the carb fire video. Trolling the trolls. Mike Zilla, I think the Miata rear end ratio is like a 4.5. I don't think it's that deep. I think it's like in the 390 range, but I got to look into that. Dodge 4x4, is the rear axle strong enough? That is the magic question, Dodge 4x4, and that's why I'm wanting to just ease into it with like just a two-barrel, a Super 6 setup and a torque flight, because I want to make sure that the rest of the car is up to it. I don't know, I know people swap things into it all the time, but I don't know everything that they do. So I don't know if the rear end is going to be strong enough. We're going to find out. Slickwheel 91, thank you, sir. Okay, so 69 fastback, tube frame chassis, fiberglass shell with 16-pound density pour foam filling electric drive unit. Interesting concept or monstrosity? It's a very interesting concept. Electric drive unit, interesting concept or monstrosity? Definitely not a monstrosity. It's absolutely an interesting concept. Let's see. Jimmy Fed, happy Easter, brother, man. Tony, when was the last time I had a convertible? I had a Sebring convertible about, I want to say about 8 years ago. Miata needs a Dana 60. No, it doesn't. Danny Boyd, does the 170 weigh more than the 4-cylinder? Addressed 170, alternator, water pump, pulleys, carburetor, intake, everything, all ready to go, is approximately 410 pounds. I'll be using an aluminum intake on it. Reducing weight as much as I can, but I figure it's and the Miata motor unit is 275 pounds. So I'm adding about 125 pounds to the car, but I'm setting the motor back. So, well, pardon, thank you so much. You didn't have to give me that much, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. For the channel, enjoying the new shop videos. Can't wait to visit. My home is your home, brother, man. Come on in. How do they say that? What's the, this is from my casa is your casa. Let's see. BS Customs. What effect does bucking back and forth on the suspension after bumping into the staging due to the launch? Well, no, what they're doing is they're building boosts. Those are turbo cars, and that's how they build boost with those things. Jared Catron. Tony, trying to get my Dart ready for the 318 Fest. I'm up in the air if my 7 1/4 will hold up on the strip. Automatic, I assume. A-body, probably. you should be fine. You should be fine, man. You know, I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? Well, I hope you're not driving it to and from, but I would take a chance on it. I would take a chance. Let's see, Chris Nowacki, Uncle Tony, Chickenwalker Ranch T-shirts and hats. Yes, they are in the future. Absolutely. Let's see, Gideon Wallace. Are there any redeemable qualities to the Diplomat Fifth Avenue chassis? Yeah, it's a big F body is all it is. I've been wanting to build a sleeper. Yeah, absolutely. They don't work as well as for drag racing purposes. They don't work as well as the earlier cars, but they still have all of the basic. You know, they're fine. The nice thing about those is that you don't have any header issues. One of the problems you have with the traditional torsion bar suspension is you got to sneak the headers between the torsion bars and the frame rails. And on those cars, the torsion bars run to the front and then they crisscross. So there's like nothing between the motor and the frame rail, and very easy to get headers in and out of those cars. But yeah, no, build it. Definitely build it. Slick Will, $5. Thank you, sir. Bought a 70 coupe rear shell. Barracuda, I assume? Should I sprinkle for a conversion kit or just wing it with body filler to make a fastback to? Whoa. Bought a 70 coupe rear shell. What? Oh, I see. When you said 70 fastback, I thought you were talking about Torino. Is that what you're talking about, a Torino? DD Speed Shop. What's happening, man? Between the tornadoes, right, and spraying gas on intakes, I can't believe I'm still alive either, right? And then, of course, there's that roll bar. You would think that it would fall over and pin my neck against something, you know, as I was carrying it. But no, I'm still alive. We're crazy, right? Okay. Bruce W. Miata is light. Take it to the drags. Might go better than Plan Z. There's a lot of extraneous weight in the Miata. I was working on it today. It is not going anywhere near a drag strip. I'm not putting a G-Tech on it. I'm not taking it to a drag strip. I do not want to know what its quarter mile or eighth mile, or I don't want to know what its acceleration numbers are. I don't want to know. I don't want it in my head. Because if I do that, the instant I do that, I'm going to start fixating on it because I've got this crazy, like, I got this, like, this ADD fucking autism thing. And then I'm going to end up hyper-focusing on making that car ET when that's not the car's purpose. The car's purpose is I want to autocross it. So that car will never see a drag strip. It will never have any sort of timer on it ever. I don't ever want to know. I just want to get in it and go, around turns. Let's see. Sam Mule, spray gas on the rollover bar and drive off. Nice flame. Yeah, that could actually be cool. I could maybe shoot flames out of my neck, right? Oh my God! You brought me coffee, huh? I know. Guys, how's the mic working?
I guess they can hear you, right?
I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah, Puglisi Speed Shop. What's happening? Doug the video making fun of the comments. Rob Welch, what rear gear does the Miata have? Is the power going to blow up with the insane power of the 170? I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to find out. I know painfully little about these cars. Mike is fine. Amazing quality. Okay, awesome. Andy, Unity Motorsports Garage. What's happening, brother? Okay. 01 transit. Run the carry van down the quarter mile. You have to. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. See. Yeah, I'm funny like that, right? I don't want to. Like here's how I am, right? I know this. Yeah, I know, and you guys aren't going to understand. I have a lot of issues. You know what I'm saying? Right? For better or worse, but they got me where I am today. So, let's just say, for example, I was on a drag strip, alone on a drag strip. and it was completely empty. And I was on the starting line with the caravan, right? You know, no, I wouldn't. I would just drive it down as if I was driving down the street because I don't want to know what the number is. Because as soon as I know what the number is, then I start fixating on making it going faster. So if I don't ever take it down the track and I don't ever assign a number to it, then I focus on what I use it for, which is its utility and so on and so forth. And the same thing with the Miata. I don't want to know what its straight line performance is because I'm building the car to turn. And in my confused ADD brain, I have to maintain the purity of the idea in order to. Does that make any sense? I know it doesn't make any sense to anybody. It's my own mental illness. Let's see. Mike Zella, it's a 430 gear in there? Okay. Might want to think overdrive. Or just drive it with a 430 gear. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. Must be fun chopping the weight out of the Miata. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm not trying to butcher the car, you know. But like today, I was unraveling some of the wiring harnesses, and I know it's not even. It's a 1990. It's not even like the newer ones, right? But just unwinding and unraveling the wiring harnesses and try to separate the circuitry. You know, what circuits do I need and what circuits got to go? Man, holy shit! I mean, a good 3 hours today, slicing harnesses open and figuring out which wire goes where and what I got to take and what I got to. Real pain in the ass. Not like the old cars. I don't have an ashtray. Baby! You got an ashtray? John Miller, maybe out of your element, but mid-2000s Trailblazer SS versus Grand Cherokee SRT8 for straight line project. Myself, no. But if you're local and you want to bring one and work on it with us, you know, on a show, yeah, I'm all for it. But I'm not about to buy one of those cars and start digging into it. I'm at my limit. I'm not buying anything else. Yes.
Okay, good. Just pay attention. You sound much better.
Do I?
Yeah, I just checked you.
Oh, nice. You're watching me from a distance.
Well, yeah.
You're lurking. People want to know why you're not here talking to them because they love you.
I love you guys too. I'm exhausted. I'm going to slur all my words. Go for it.
John Wilburn, slow motion video of Tony breaking the pinions in the roof of bottle rocket. Oh, did you get that? I didn't even know it was gone until I parked the car and I saw the top of the snubber just laying in the middle of a parking lot. Capri 82, what's going on, brother man? DD, what's another car? What's another car? I know. See, that's a scary attitude, right? I've actually got another car sitting at the lot, which is like a parts car, but I'm going to end up doing something with it. Curtis Randolph, do you know the max ring gap on a 360 LA? Max? I mean, you're going to open it up like for boost? You know, I don't know, max about 30,000, 32,000. So I don't think you're going to go more than that. And that's only if you're really going to be leaning on it. It's Dallas, the American Hot Rod Association. American Hot Rod Association, AHRA.org. It's AHRAonline.org. Go over there. Dallas has got all of his AHRA merch. Become a member. Oh, okay. You slick, Will. You're talking about a Torino, a Mustang, not a Torino. Okay. You picked up a 70 Mustang Coupe shell, no rear end, front clip, or pans. So it's just a roof. You want to start to making a fastback shell, would be better off getting a conversion kit. Oh yeah, get a conversion kit. Bond, you're not going to be happy, unless you're really good, man, you're not going to be happy with that. Do it on a live stream with Dee. We will, definitely. We'll do something again like in a few weeks or so. Whenever he wants to, whenever he's ready. I'm always, those guys are awesome. Rob Welch, how many cars do you have in the fleet at the moment? 15. I have 15. And all but 3 are running driving cars. BS Customs. Thank you, sir. Was more talking after they bump on the 2-step, sitting there rocking fore and aft on the suspension. Does that load the suspension weird for launch? I don't know if you could time it that way. I mean, so you're waiting for the light, right? What if you're on a rearward rock when So I don't think that would equate. But those guys know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. That's a whole different. They're working. They're working street racing levels that didn't exist when I was doing it. Randall Munson, happy Easter, Randall. Oh man, I got something caught in my throat. Any decarbonizing tricks for intake runners on GDI engines? I realize you're a carburetor guy, but you may have heard what. Oh Jesus. This is the thing. I can't scroll shit. Okay, guys. If you ask a question on this, we're running this thing, and if you ask a question on this and it scrolls up to the top before I can finish reading it, it's gone. I can't get back to it. Okay. So I'm sorry. You asked me a question about decarbonizing.
Not lying.
Well, I'm not lying. What are you talking about?
Here. Look. Here. Right here. You can go up.
Oh.
See?
Well, that's why I need you in here doing this shit.
Which question was it?
Randall Munson.
Here.
Ah, all right. See, I don't know these things. This is okay. I need decarbonizing tricks for intake runners on GDI engines. I realize you're a carburetor guy, but you may have heard something from fellow mechanics. No, Randall, nothing. I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of this specific. No, I wish I could answer that for you. Maybe I'm sure somebody here can. Just do a video on nitrous at some point. Thumper, Tornillo's Mopars, not Windows. Thank you. Yeah, this is all future tech, man. This is way over my head. Max ring gap to Curtis Randolph. Max ring gap to see if old rings are any good. Mine are about 35,000. And you didn't gap them at 35,000, then I would say they're going to be shot. Yeah. Okay, Bruce W. Richard Holdner did a live with his wife yesterday, and he is keen to do another live with you. Awesome. Yeah, well, when we did the last one, we left off that we would do another one in about a month. So I'll message him tomorrow, or maybe he'll message me. But yeah, I'd love to do another one. That's good conversation. I like somebody who you can debate with. That was fun. Not that I don't like these other guys. I love all these other guys, but he was actually, that was a really fun show that we did. Okay, I don't know how to make this go away. So we've still got Randall's question. If anybody can answer Randall's question, feel free to jump in there. Just wondering what's happening with the Belvedere these days. Nothing. I keep saying it over and over again. Zero is going to happen with that car until I've got everything else in line and I have crew, a tribe, until I have a physical tribe that I can trust. Then we can move forward with that. What do you mean you're gonna help me? You're gonna help me? Wow. She's gonna help me. She's not gonna leave me to flounder by myself. Oh, that's how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you can click on another one.
Okay. Well, why don't you
Which one do you want to
why don't you
answer?
click on one?
Because I don't know which one you want to answer.
I don't know. It doesn't. You pick one for me. I'll answer anything. I don't care. Kathy the Savior. That's right.
No. Can you read that?
Okay. UTG. Do you know why the wiring on a distributor cap on a 400 small block is different from a 350 or 305? 400, 350, 305 are all 184, 36572 motors. So no, the wiring is going to be the same. Unless you're dealing with a much later, when they did a 4.7 swap, whichever swap that they do with that. But no, if it's a production 400, 350, or 305, they're all 184, 36572 motors. Mopar's still junk, you figure. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what attracted me to begin with to them. They were junk. Nobody wanted them. So I grabbed all I could.
You need me.
Did I ever doubt that? No.
Thanks, Kurt. Happy Easter to you, Corley. Happy Easter, everybody.
They $5 to your relief fund.
Oh, I get a relief. I can't read that.
I think that's your escape fund.
Oh.
They're trying to get enough cash together so you can escape.
My haircut fund.
Or your haircut fund, yeah.
Thank you.
She was just saying today, I want a haircut so badly.
I do, but I'm spending it on shop stuff. All the money. They take all the money. The shop stuff. Yes, that's right, Matt. We need each other. Exactly. Let's see. Macy's. I can't see that from here.
Working a deal on a 2-door 73 Dart with a slant 6 on a 4-speed. Bench seat car, setting 4L, good title, minimal rust, maybe the next will it run on my channel. Good. Have fun with that. Only it's probably not a 4-speed. If it's original 73 slant 6, it's a 3-speed. It's an A230 3-speed.
Danny Boyd says you can hear every bit of tobacco going into the cigarette because you're rolling it up against the mic.
Oh, nice. Nice. You could probably hear me digesting my queso lupus. Okay. Tony, have you researched the Toyota 4AGE motor? They're amazing. I'll tell you what, I've never researched it, but I am absolutely certain, positive, beyond any question of a doubt, that it is a far, far superior motor to the Slant 6. And that's why I'll be using the Slant 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Ron Moore, is he coming to Tennessee? He's going to be here on Wednesday.
Whee!
Okay.
Oh, cool.
You're going to see the Tavern on Tuesday? Okay, cool. Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be around.
Let's see. What does it say? Sometimes I wonder if you play stubborn, just so you can see the day my old man does it all the time.
No, I legitimately am
He's
still not.
legitimately stubborn. Thanks for doing work, dude. Not much, but some haircut funds keep us on track, Abby. Thanks. Oh, thank you guys.
A trim, not a haircut. She gets a trim.
Yeah, I use trim.
Yeah. But shortening hair is forbidden.
Oh, sometimes
Verboten.
what I do with my hair. Oh, that's my hair.
You want to tell them what happened that one time?
No, please, because I should have known then. Oh, all right. Ronnie Harris. Is it saying? It's hilarious that people are still trying to change your mind about putting six in the Miata.
Well, I mean, they could try, and everybody's got their suggestions and everybody's got their favorite motors, But I'm set on that idea, That's the thing I want to do. I can hear it. I can hear the motor and feel that car. It's already done. I could see the motor in there, and nothing's going to change that vision. I'm going to keep going until I actually put it together. This has got to get tilted down just a little bit. I'm trying. There we go. Oh yeah, much better.
Can you see that?
Okay. Jimmy said, Tony, lose the hood, top on the Miata, and make it a tonneau cover for it. Probably won't drive in bad weather anyway. Yeah, but I want to be able to leave it outside. That's the thing. That's the requirement I have of all my cars. They have to be able to be left outside, if there's a reason to.
Oh yeah, okay. You and John Wilburn have a special live next week.
Oh, yeah. What were we talking? Next Sunday.
Sunday before our live.
Right, next Sunday.
6 o'clock.
Next Sunday at 6 o'clock. John Wilburn and I are doing a live on something.
The Hemi and the 340, I believe.
The Hemi and the 340. Oh, the LA and the DeSoto.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
John Wilburn, when is it? Oh, wait. Here you go.
Okay. Iceman. Okay.
You can take a drink of water. You sound like you have something to say.
I do. My throat's all dry and scratchy.
Drink water.
Okay. 73 Chargers, a 413 big block and a 727. Stock converter 323s. Have a new 68 to 7440 Magnum cam to install for best acceleration. Install cam advanced. Okay. That 68 to 7440 Magnum cam is really no different than the 413 cam that's in there. You're wasting your time with that. Honestly, you're not going to see a performance improvement. You could take the cam that's currently in there and go up 4 degrees on it, and that would definitely boost your bottom end of it. Chris Nowacki, Super 6 or 4-barrel intake on the Miata. I'd like to start. This is not, and ideally, I think eventually I'd like to have Webers. I like the idea of Webers. Open the hood and there's Webers there. Well, we're nowhere near Webers. So I'll probably, just because it's just a temporary thing to get the car running, I'll probably put a Super 6 on it. Wooden Mill Garage, what's the weight difference on the stock motor versus the Slant 6 for the Miata? Stock motors are approximately 410, 420 pounds. The Miata motor is approximately 275 pounds. So it's a difference it's a difference of less than 150 pounds. But remember, I'm setting the motor back. The front of the motor will occupy approximately the same place as the Mazda motor, but the back 2 cylinders are going to be way back. So it'll actually put weight kind of towards the middle of the car where it'll do the most good.
I have to delete this.
Why?
Somebody's taking John's name.
John, can you have my baby?
No, it's not really him.
Well, I don't know. How do you know it's not him?
Because he would be a mod.
Well, maybe John has that kind of feelings for me.
But he's not marked as a mod.
Listen, this is the 21st century, you know what I mean?
That's not John Wilburn.
Okay, well then get rid of him.
I hope it's not John Wilburn.
I don't know. If he wants to have my baby, I mean.
I want to watch John Wilburn.
Let's see. Uncle Jim, are you using the same rear end in the Miata? Yeah, we're going to start with that. I have no idea what its limits are. I don't know. So yeah, we'll start with the stock rear that's in there.
Okay, so how come the mods are highlighted? It's weird, right?
I don't know. I mean,
John says he tossed him.
he tossed him.
Yeah, but the mod should be highlighted, no?
Well, I mean, John, if you have that kind of feelings for me, it's weird, man. It's really weird. It's cool. Just don't ever touch me.
I need to drink water.
Okay.
Can you handle it? For a minute?
Gabriel DeMarco. Any plans for my Charger? Twin turbos? No. Whatever you do, don't paint it. It looks good as it is. No real plans. I mean, the next thing I'm going to do with that car, it runs really good. It needs nothing mechanically, you know. The next thing I'm going to do with that car, we're going to bring it to the shop. Not for a little while, but I got to get it to the shop. And the only body that car is like no rust. The body is really straight, except for the driver's side rear quarter. The car was hit in the ass, and the driver's side quarter is shortened up about 3/4 of an inch. It's kinked at the top of the front of the frame rail. You know, where the wheel goes, where the frame rail goes over the wheel. It's kinked right at the front of that arch. So what I'm going to do is get it to the shop and cut that piece. You know, cut through the frame rail there and start trimming metal away until I can get the quarter panel to spring back. So that's about the only thing only real plans I have on that car other than just dick around with it and make it nicer. Alexander Labs. I put together a dirt cheap 305 with a cam that I'm stuffing in my 88 Mazda B2200. Yeah, excellent. Have fun with that.
Did you do this one yet?
Michael B, thank you, sir. You messaged me on Instagram. I'm never on Instagram. That's Uncle Kathy on Instagram. So, and Uncle Crystal.
Yeah, we go back and forth.
I don't even know how to use Instagram. They try to show me these things, and I'm like, stop! You're scaring me, right? So
I'm gonna make them download it.
oh God.
So answer his question.
Okay. You're working on an 89 Shelby Dakota, okay, and could definitely use some expert advice. Are you local? If you're local, just come by the shop. Andy, I've got a 430 horsepower 54 with an Edelbrock. The plugs are white when cruising. I went from a 100,000 jet to a 107 and then a 6537 rod. Plugs didn't change the color at all. Is that a big change to stay white? Yes, it is. You should have picked up some color on it. The springs. Did you change it? Did you change your step-up springs at all? So you're cruising. It's a cruising issue you're having, right? So it's possible that the step-up springs aren't thick enough to pull the jet up at a light cruise. Try messing around with those springs and see what happens.
What's local?
Nashville area?
Local means within your area.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to be an asshole. Well, I am an asshole, like, you know.
Local here, local to us. Let's see. Trade it for a Foxconn Mustang.
No,
No?
I don't want a Fox Body Mustang.
Wooden metal garage. Let's see.
Alexander Labs, what is a good trans with low parasitic loss to put behind my motor going for as light as possible for everything open to stick or auto? Bro, what kind of car? What motor? What kind of power level? Is this a drag racing thing? You know, there's too many questions there. You got to be more specific.
Everybody's saying happy Easter and one of them.
Yes, happy Easter all. And happy Passover, any of my Jewish friends. And I believe the Muslims, don't the Muslims have a holiday now also?
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't
Oh,
know, honestly, I don't know.
anybody who's celebrating anything, you know. Okay, Zeus times 21. The 66 Charger I found has a 383 that's been rebuilt and board 40 over. I'd much rather find one with a 426 or 440. It's in the middle of restoration and they want 9,000 for it. Is that a good deal? In the middle of a restoration, that's tricky because you don't know what you're going to end up with. If it's in the middle of a restoration, you don't know if everything is there on the car. You don't know the condition of the stuff that's, because if it's in the middle of a restoration, you're telling me that there's lots of stuff in boxes. The interior is going to be in boxes. The glass is going to be in boxes. The trim is going to be in boxes. All of this shit. So, no, I would not spend that much money for a car that's in the middle of a restoration. Only because there's just too many wild cards. You can get hurt real bad on that. Is that a good answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave Neville says you look tired.
I am tired.
We're all tired.
Very tired. Doing this stuff takes a lot out of you, let me tell you.
Which stuff?
YouTube and all of the things associated with it.
Well, we haven't stopped moving.
Yeah, this isn't just a job that you do for a few minutes that you make on a video. This is like literally, the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to sleep at night, 7 days a week. It's like, it never stops.
I've been painting for how many weeks now?
Yeah, on top of the move.
On top of everything else.
Zeus, they said it comes with all the parts. I know lots of people who say lots of things. If you're gonna make a move like that, I would go and inventory everything. You know what I mean? Everything. Big Bear says Muslims do celebrate Easter. Okay, I don't know. See, I don't know what people celebrate.
Did you read that? So impressive.
Oh, what's the brown car in the recent video you did? Brown car?
He's talking about the gold dart.
The gold dart. It's a '66 dart that I picked up. It's just a original Survivor car. Slant six, 3 on the tree. Just a nice, solid old car. Okay, you're pumping out so many videos, including the live stuff, I can't keep up. Neither can I.
Neither can we.
In addition to the other channels I follow.
I just ordered another calendar.
We got.
I was trying to keep track of everything in my head, and it's shorting out. My brain is shorting out.
I mean, I got to be honest. We got big bills. We got to do this. You know what I mean? We got to make videos. If we don't make videos, get them out there. This is our job. This is what we do. Anthony Smiley, 2-barrel or 4-barrel for best low-end torque on a stroke small block Mopar. A vacuum secondary 2-barrel if you wanted to look at it that way. A vacuum secondary 4-barrel, I should say.
What's up, Paul?
Hi, Paul. Are you completely moved into the new shop yet? I'm just picking up little, I had to go get buckets of nuts and bolts and shit like that. This box of miscellaneous stuff. I'm basically moved in, but there's little things that still need to be organized. Still have to push it away. Still got to finish up some of the stuff in the shop itself, or in the the office area.
Yeah, we're still working on that.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do.
Okay, you did try different springs. For an HG spring, 8. Okay, if 21 could it be hot gas? Probably not. You'd be pinging if it was a matter of it vaporizing like that. 21 inches of vacuum is a lot. And it's lean. What are the timing numbers on that? What's your initial and what's your total, and what kind of RPM is it only by?
JW says you look up Bill's brother. Yep.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, everybody does.
Garth Reinhardt, what's the best way to clean an aluminum intake clean on a motor? There are aluminum cleaning sprays. John brought me a case of stuff. What the hell's the name of it?
What are you bringing?
John Wilburn brought me a case of aluminum cleaner. They have spray on aluminum cleaner. I would say that and like a series of wire brushes, like something small, something a little bit bigger. You can get in there and scrub, and then just after that, engine cleaner and water to finish it off. You should be able to do a nice job.
Buff Del Campo's here.
Buff Del Campo.
What's up, Buff?
Yes. What is going on, Buff? Wait till you see I'm not even going to talk about it, Buff. I'm not going to talk about it.
Stop it. Tony's just teasing me.
No.
Yeah, you are.
You want to talk? You want to talk to Buff?
Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
Not gonna say what?
I won't say anything.
Oh, now you started something, and he's gonna be like, "What?
No. I didn't
Okay.
start anything.
So when the first day we got there, Tony threw Buff in an office, but I moved you down an office, Buff, because I need a place to put a computer.
She said it.
I said it.
Oh my God.
You still have an office. You're just down one.
Buff loves that office.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
He said it's closer to you, boss.
Okay. I did not say that.
So basically, what you did,
He's trying to make me feel guilty.
was you drove a wedge between Buff
didn't.
and me.
Buff, you still have an office. It's next to mine now. All right.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
Here, Tony.
I'm tired. Buff is crying now.
He's not.
Yes, he is. He's like the Indian on the pollution commercial. It's just a tear running down his.
Again with that. Thanks, Fubar. Let's see. One of the offices is for the Mayada. Happy Easter, Matt.
That's because you fixed the lights in the office, right? Buff, I tried talking to her, man. I tried reasoning with her. I said, don't do that to Buff. I'm going to get you a light fixture, brother, man. I'm going to get you a nice light fixture.
What's that joke, Buff?
Yoke has 5-0. Do any of your cars run faster than 13 seconds in the quarter mile? Do I look like a crazy person? Why would anybody want to go faster than 13 seconds in a quarter mile? You're nuts.
Just don't worry about Tony will spend his office time in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
It's the think tank.
Think tank.
Think tank. And I know, and we don't need to be in the dark anymore. Yeah, Buff fixed all the light bulbs.
You see, I kind of like that.
Bathroom? No, I don't like that.
I kind of like that, peeing in the dark. It was cool.
Let's see. Andy, where do you go? Follow-up to a question.
Okay, 14 initial, 36 total at 2650-ish. Okay, it's a 49 big block Chevy, small cam, 212, 218, peanut port heads. I think is the reason for the high vacuum. Well, the small cam would be, but the ports wouldn't make any difference on the vacuum. The cam would. That is a small cam, 212, 218. I'm assuming it's a comp cam because you're giving the actual numbers instead of the advertised. You're giving a 50 number instead of advertised. No, it sounds like you've got it advanced. I mean, it's a small cam, but that's like 2 to 4 degrees advanced if you're pulling that much vacuum. Because straight up, I wouldn't expect that much. I would expect 19, 20 at the most. 21 is a lot. So is that cam advanced? And let me tell you something. You can't always go by. I've had cams that are ground. They're supposed to be, let's say straight up, right? But they're ground either advanced or retarded. So I would check that. That's a lot of vacuum. And it's an odd lean condition. I'm thinking you might have a cam timing issue. Yeah. Thumper's going to violently break into the 13s. Bro, we'll all hold hands and light a candle for you. Not at the same time. We would have to let go of our hands to light the candles. But oh, Ari, no good on that. You ready for this one? I gave Buff the motor that I thought, right? I thought I had a spare short block on that I could pop that piece off of because I don't have any loose ones. That oil cap that you're looking for, I gave it to Buff. Buff has it, and Buff is in the parts unknown. I don't have one, Ari. I'm sorry. I did look though.
Talking to each other.
Oh, cool. Man of consistent sorrows. Why does a new steering box wander? 1989 W100. All parts of the front end new, including steering shaft, Borgeson. It's probably an alignment issue. You've probably got an alignment issue. You got to lose any bit of toe in. If it's dead even or it's probably an alignment issue.
Children are watching.
What does that mean?
Read it.
Oh, my son Havoc says that's a great name, Havoc. Havoc.
Probably be very straight-laced.
How are you doing, brother man? Probably. How come nobody named me Havoc? Uncle Havoc. Charles Groton, my son and I just picked up a 79 Valero Roadrunner. Congratulations. It was parked 11 years ago due to no spark issue, 318 car. I'm a low park guy like you, and I've tried everything. I've got it to bark once. Any ideas? Did you go with the obvious stuff? I mean, the ECU is good. You got it to bark once. But I mean, when you're cranking it, you got to spark when you're cranking it. Rag joint wouldn't really cause it to wander. Rag joint would give you some slop in the wheel, but it wouldn't make the truck wander. But if the alignment is out, it'll want to ride whatever crown there is or whatever deviations there are on the road. Patio furniture, left gas in twin McCuney carbs for 2 years on a Triumph. Will seafoam and carb cleaner work to ungum them? Are they gummed up? Did you try to start it? Try to start it first. You might be surprised. Thumper, hey Kathy, thanks. My fastest car is a single-digit ride. It's an ongoing joke among my friends that someday we will all run 13s. That's cool. Chris Gurney, well, why do people lose interest in projects? I have a cousin of 3 Coronets riding away. Why does anybody do anything? What got them interested in the projects to begin with? The motivation came, the motivation went, and the cars remain.
You want a hoodie? Okay, we'll work on hoodies. It's summer though coming.
Yeah.
So want a hoodie? We can do them in the fall. Let's see.
Gideon Wallace, Uncle Tony, speaking of alignment, you ever going to do an in-depth suspension video? We've done a lot of in-depth suspension videos. What specifically do you want to see? Andy Kozlowski, can you find a 66 Rambler American convertible in your area? No, probably not. I haven't seen one. I need one bad, 6-banger, of course. I haven't seen anything like that. And that would get my attention. I would notice that right away because I love that kind of car.
Oh, good. Good for us. Great sound tonight.
Awesome.
Great clear picture too. Awesome. Tony's got a new mic. Thank you.
Andy's back. I had the short block assembled. The cam is at 104.5 and has 106 center line, I believe. Is that the info you needed? Six. Yeah, I'm thinking that you might want to back that cam up. But again, just because I've had this happen where you've got the front lobes of the cam are not in phase with the rear lobes of the cam. One of the things I've had this happen a couple of times. So one of the things that I do now when I install a cam, I'll check everything at number one. Okay, then I'll roll the motor over 360 degrees on the crank, and then I'll check number 6 because I've had that happen where the cam is not ground correctly front to back. I've had them ground with all different situations. So I'm thinking, like I said, if you're perpetually lean with a huge amount of vacuum, I'm saying it's probably a cam timing issue. I'm thinking you might want to back it up a little bit.
I think they're talking about K cars in the comments.
Okay.
They might be going back and forth. Penn says, was this some sort of sick joke? If you keep denying that Chrysler K cars and the Chrysler minivans and Dodge Dakota and acquisition of Jeep save Chrysler, then
I've never said a negative word about the K car.
To you.
Oh.
I mean, he's just talking in general. Because I know you like K cars.
I love K cars.
Yeah. You do. Like K cars. ETG Fall Edition, yeah. We'll come out with a fall line. Let's see. Is the new shop a good address to ship your? Yeah, you can send mail. We have a place you can send mail to now.
Yeah, what is it?
10710 Franklin Road, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 37128.
Awesome. DD, do super stock springs live up to the hype? Yes, they work. They work. Now you can duplicate the effect of super stock springs by running an air shock on the passenger side, which is what I do with any of my cars that I want. I'm trying to get straight line performance out of. I'll always put an air shock on the right rear. That duplicates the preload that you would get with the super stock springs. Super stock springs, if you put a set of super stock springs in your car, right, it's going to sit on an angle. So the passenger side of the car is going to sit about 1.5 inches, 2 inches higher than the driver's side when it's at rest. And that's to preload that rear corner of the car. So that's one of the main, I mean, there are other features to super stock springs, but that's like the main feature of them. It's the extra arch on the passenger side. And you could duplicate that with regular stock springs by unclamping all, okay, so picture is your axle, okay, your axle, the front segment of the spring, right? Leave the clamps, the bands. There's going to be 2 bands on the front of that. Behind the axle, the long part of the spring, there's going to be a couple of bands there also. Take those bands off and leave them off, right? And then you preload. You throw a little air, throw an air shock on the right rear. You jack it up about 1 inch or so higher than the left rear, and that'll pretty much duplicate what you would get out of the super stock springs. There, I said it.
Can you read that?
Curtis, where would you set your new rings for a driver 360? About 20,000. So yeah, 20,000 on the large side. 16 to 20. Any place in that range is going to be fine. Patrick H, I did a Hemi Cameron lifter job the other day at work, and I thought of your video. It's always the MDS lifters that fail. The Gen 3 Hemi would take so long to pump up those lifters. It's insane. Although that's not true, because I've had many people, if you go back and you read the comments on those videos that I did, there is no pattern as to whether they're MDS lifters or non-MDS lifters or non-MDS motors, MDS delete. There is no pattern or rhyme or reason. All years and all configurations of lifters suffer from that same problem. Would there ever show the person? Would there ever be an exception to your Mopar only 60s to 70s lineup? Yeah, it's called a 1990 Miata, and I'm turning it mechanically into a 60s 70s Mopar.
I think I need a truck or something. Something I can drive off the road in. Because I can't see.
The gambler car.
The gambler car.
Yeah.
It's not gonna have wipers.
Just Chris Greenaway. Tony, can you find me a 72? Can you find me a 72 Montego GT for me? You know, Chris, let me look at my ass. I think the last time I was there. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. I'll keep my eyes open and let you know if I come across any. Sorry, kids. I know, we're trying to be kid friendly. Rude Mopar dude. Sorry, sitting at the line at a drag strip and watching the launch. Some rise straight up. Would they not benefit from the weight transfer idea? The ones that rise straight up are benefiting from the transfer idea. That's the ones that sit up. If you watch a Mopar, right? And I'm talking about like an average performance bar. I'm not talking about a 7-second car. Okay, I'm talking about an 11-second, a 10-second, a 9-second car, right? Full body, full suspension. If you watch a Mopar that's set up correctly, okay, that's exactly what it'll do. It'll be sitting at rest and it'll just come up evenly, right? So boop, it'll just jump up evenly and go. So no, that's weight transfer in action. Oof, getting worse. Sorry, I meant steering. I never had to bother with the steering box and only replace parts when they're obviously worn. Rack and pinion is boring, but don't know enough about conventional steering. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's probably, your issue is probably going to be in the alignment. I would run it over to an alignment shop and see what they...
John Wilburn, where is this video? Can you send it to me? I can put it
Watch
on
the slow-mo
Instagram.
video, a shot of Bottle Rocket really shows the springs.
Was that when you broke the pinions?
Probably, yeah, but I didn't get any rise because I know when that car bites, the front end comes straight up. Because you feel the back end come up, but you also feel the front end come up. And that car evidently didn't bite at all that run because the front end, I didn't feel the front end rise at all, but I did feel the back come up.
Every time you take it out, you break something.
Yeah, every time I take it out, it breaks something. This was the pinion snubber. Charles Manson. Any reason why my car lurches to the right going down the highway when I let off the gas? It's a new symptom. Let off the gas. Lurches to the right. You're driving down the road. You let off the gas. Unloads. Look at the lower control arm bushings. You might have no, wait. Either lower control arm bushing or strut rod bushing. Check the strut rod bushing. And it doesn't have to be the strut rod bushing on that side. It could be the strut rod bushing on the left side, and it'll still cause it to go one way there. When those bushings go, the car will do weird things that don't necessarily equate, right? But first check the strut rod bushings. If the strut rod bushings are okay, lower control arm bushing. Chester Rush, you tried my shock trick. Why do I get wheel hop? What kind of car? Chester, what kind of car do you have?
Okay, watch your comments. Chester Rush. See it now?
No.
No. Oh, we're really behind.
Wow. Oh my God, we really were behind. Oh my God.
Okay, Google, tell me in a minute. You probably gave up because you were so behind.
Somebody just asked about the
What?
the lemons.
Oh, I don't know. I don't see that.
Ellie the Retro Kid. Uncle Tony, have you ever tried to work on a Bosch mechanical fuel injection system from the 60s? Yes, I have actually. And they're not bad. They're not that bad. Need mail. Thank you, sir. Will you be able to triangulate the Miata crash bar with the rag top? I was looking at that. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I'm trying to take things on this call one step at a time. And my first step on this is to declutter it of anything that isn't going on for the ride. So I looked at it briefly. It's going to be difficult to be able to have the top all the way down and triangulate to the rear on it. But I got to study a little bit more.
Here's Chester.
87 Camaro with a 535 big block. Okay, you have the shock. That shock thing is for a leaf spring car, and mostly for a car with symmetrical leaf springs, like asymmetrical leaf springs, like a Chrysler. On your Camaro, the problem you have, the reason you have wheel hop is because the control arms, the rear control arms that are on the axle. The bottom control arm, right, the one that mounts at the bottom of the axle, faces up, okay? And if you were to draw a straight line from the middle of that, if you were to draw a straight line connecting that lower control arm forward, you would see that it passes right around the car's center of gravity, which is where it's supposed to. But if you look at the upper control arm on your car, the upper control arm, instead of facing down and trying to meet that one, is actually facing up. So what happens is, in terms of a four-link suspension, there's no instant center. Your instant sensor is infinity, meaning that as you put power to it, it's going to load and unload, and that's where your wheel hop is coming from. So that shock trick will not work on that car. It will help somewhat, but if you've got enough power, no, it's not. You're going to need to relocate. You're going to need to work on the geometry of the rear upper control arms to make that work. Chester, I hope you understand that. I don't know did I make it clear? Is that chicken still alive? Did they burn out Trudy? Yes. She's a glorious chicken.
We should sell eggs at the shop.
We will. We're gonna sell actual eggs.
We have so many freaking
Yeah.
eggs.
Yeah.
I can't keep up.
Autographed UTG eggs.
Let's just give them away.
Straight out of my chicken's
Give eggs
ass.
away. Shooty eggs. Let's see.
Joe K. Click on that.
Wait, where is it? I can't see it. Where? Here it is.
Yeah. Joe K. There is no upper control arms on a 3rd gen, 4th gen Camaros. Torque arm and pan hard bar. Okay, well, it wouldn't be the pan hard bar for sure. What is the geometrical relationship of the lower control arm? The torque arm is taking the place, geometrically speaking now, in terms of suspension, the torque arm is taking the place of the upper control arm, okay? So picture it in terms of a 4-link, right? So in this case, it's a 3-link, and the torque arm is the upper control arm and the lower control arm. What is the geometrical relationship between those two things? That's where I would look to control wheel hop.
Make an omelet with Stuntman's pizza toppings.
Stuntman's got pizza toppings?
I've never been to Chickenwalker Ranch. Oh no, I don't know what that is. That's that show that was on.
Yes, Chickenwalker Ranch,
It's
yeah.
off now.
Well, it might still be on. We don't have cable anymore. We got rid of it. We cut the cord.
Yeah, cut the cable cord. No more direct TV.
Right. Loud Burns. Got any launching tricks for Mopar big block cars with gobs of horsepower and torque? That's a really crazy question. What is gobs of horsepower and torque? You know, to one person, gobs of horsepower and torque is 375, and to the next person it's 3,000. I mean, I don't know. But mostly every car is going to be a little bit different. You just have to experiment. That's the trick. You go out there and experiment, launch it 50 times and find out how the car, which is something, it's exactly what we need to do with Plan Z now, is we got to figure out how that car wants to be launched. And we may actually do that tomorrow for video.
Yeah, there's nothing on TV worth watching.
Yeah, no, really, it's terrible.
2015.
It's terrible.
You just watch the internet.
Mitten Made Muscle. Anybody else hear that Milan Dragway is closed down, most likely for good? Pretty sad though. Thought it was going to be saved. Yeah, I heard something about that, but I saw it like on Facebook.
Restrictions I had read about it, that they weren't going to be able to open.
I don't.
Whatever reasons, they weren't saying the reasons exactly.
Well, Michigan is run by commies, so who the hell knows what they're doing up there?
Kids are watching.
Boy, commie isn't a curse.
No.
Well. Handy. Would using a highly carb help get her? Oh, this is using a highly carb help get around the high vacuum issue. No, because instead of dealing with the step up rods and the springs and everything, you'd be dealing with the power valve. So it's 6 1/2 of those numbers. It's actually easier to work around with the Edelbrock.
Made muscle says unpaid bills is what they heard.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Easter eggs from Trudy. Yeah, we got tons of eggs.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
sure?
More questions.
All right.
Give me more questions. I'm just gonna rock around a
Talk
little
about
bit.
no TV that they agree.
Yeah. Oh, it's junk. It's horrible.
It's terrible. It's all repeats. Hang on, I'm looking. Do you have a cat named Milan? No.
We could change the cat's name.
No, we're not changing the cat's name.
Douglas Filer. Tony, on hotrod.com, they have update suspension for the 3rd and 4th gen Camaros. Okay. Paul Kelly, mixture setting, vacuum gauge violently flicking at idle 446 pack. I can't tell you what the mixture setting is going to be. You have to first figure out why the vacuum gauge is violently flicking. And I mean, is the motor sealing correctly? I don't know. Michael McPherson, can you improve the fuel mileage on a Slant 6? I would like to do a hypermiling thing. That could be a lot of fun. Yes, you can always improve the gas mileage of any really any engine. You can always make something a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. But I would like to do a hypermile thing at some point. Right, we'll get at that.
Yeah.
Rude Mopar dude, if I hold my shift, how much play should I have in the advanced springs? 318 before spring is taut. You're going to have, so the light spring is always active, and then if you look at the heavy spring, it's got a little bit of a notch there, which you go about 10 degrees of rotor rotation on the light spring, and before the heavy spring eats up all that space in the slot. So, I don't know if that's answering the question. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
What's up, Zero?
Zero is here. What's happening, brother man? JW, do you feel any real-world advantage moving up to 1.6 rockers on any cam over 500 lift? Well, I mean, 500 lift is not a lot of cam. The only thing you've got to watch out for when you go into a bigger or a longer ratio rocker like that is to make sure that you've got clearance between the valve, between the retainer, the valve retainer, and the guide, the top of the guide. That's where you usually run into problems. Like on a Mopar, small block Mopars, like at anything over 550 lift, you start to get into, and they're all different because they're all machined a little bit different. That's not one of those like very uniform production tolerance thing. Like you'll find if you measure them, you'll find that like some of the guides stick up. You can get 600 thousandths out of them, and some of you can get 490 thousandths out of them. They didn't really, because in terms of assembly line production tolerances, that wasn't really a critical dimension. So you'll find that they're all machined a little bit differently. But that's something you need to check before you go to you make any rocker ratio change. Phil Anderson, how come Mopar guys don't talk about Racer Brown cams? Excuse me, I had them grind one for my Corvette and it screams, look like jewelry. Well, you just said something about Racer Brown cams, and I'm a Mopar guy, and I'm going to say something about Racer Brown cams. Phil Anderson is very happy with his.
Everybody's hoodies in the fall.
Yeah. We're going to get old gangsta in the fall. We're going to murder out everything. We're going to have our hoodies. We're going to be packing heat, Smacking the bitches. We'll have the hoodies.
Here, Earl has a food post.
Oh, nice. Earl Hickey, I've lost about 25 pounds in the last month. Good going, brother, man. I think it's because all I've been eating out of his vending machines.
Oh, no.
Any ideas on cheap meals?
Spaghetti?
Oh, no, don't eat spaghetti. No, you'll put the weight right back on.
He doesn't want to lose 25 pounds. Maybe he's starving.
Oh, Earl. Oh, okay, see, I need to lose 25 pounds.
Spaghetti?
Yeah.
Mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese, there you go. You got
Rice-a-roni with a little meat in it.
Rice-a-roni's good, yeah.
Chopped meat is always really cheap.
Chopped pork is even cheaper.
Bean soup.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that you can make super cheap if you have the cooking facilities.
Yeah. But I mean, either way, good going on the 25 pound. I mean, if you lost 25 pounds, you probably needed to lose 25 pounds. So, I do.
You do. Let's see. Talking to each other.
Okay.
We're not murdering anything out here.
Why?
Because we don't do that. We let go of things. Let's see.
Chris, Tony, have you heard the latest on the EPA wanted to basically outlaw any and all modified vehicles, including all race and off-road? I did a video on that, man. Go back about 3 weeks ago, right? It was about 3 weeks ago. I did a video on that. Yeah, I thought don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I prefer the way too much so that no one asks me to drive for them. Yeah, Earl. Yeah. You see, he says, if you want to lose weight, just eat at a vending machine. It's good idea to cook spaghetti and macaroni. Any kind of rice dish too, those are always cheap. You can always make a little meat.
Jupiter Mustang Mike says to eat cat food.
Yeah, don't eat cat food. He's talking to one another. Here.
Michael McPherson. So was there a reason that Dodge used left-hand studs on rims? The thought was that during a tire change, if somebody was to accidentally not tighten the nuts sufficiently that they would loosen, it's like through normal use, that they wouldn't unscrew themselves because of the rotation. JW, times are changing. Your thoughts on aftermarket fuel injection systems? I've stated my thoughts on that 10,000 times. I have no. I have nothing against them. If you want to use an aftermarket fuel injection system, knock yourself out. There's lots of them on the market. Most of them do what they're supposed to do. I would never use one because I don't feel that there's a sufficient benefit over a carburetor to use it. And I don't like being a slave to proprietary software and the complication and the things that go wrong with them. I like the carburetor. It's simple. It's analog. I can fix it on the side of the road. So that's my thoughts on that. Let's see. Tony, when are we going to do a Mercury Cyclone spoiler in the museum? By my math, it'll be 82 this. I'll get together with him. I talked to my friend Richard Fleener about a week ago. That's the guy who we got together with him. And I'll get together with him. James George, Uncle Tony, Cars Illustrated was my favorite magazine in 1987. I still love you. In a brotherly way.
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
I love you too, man. In a brotherly way. What is my favorite carburetor? My go-to is the big Edelbrock, the Carter AFB, the Edelbrock. And it's not because it's a better carburetor than a Holly, right? You know, a lot of times I prefer something and it's really not the best, right? But that's my go-to. I like them because they're super easy to make fine-tuning adjustments on. Anthony Smiley, big advantage of dual point distributor over a single point. There really is no big advantage. There's a slight advantage, and it has to do with slew rate, and that's something that I am not an electrical engineer. I couldn't tell you specifically why that is. Bruce W., head studs versus head bolts, when and where to use. Head studs if you're dealing with an alloy block. Head studs if you're dealing with something that has extremely high cylinder pressure. Head studs if you've got something that's got moderate cylinder pressure but not 5 bolts around each cylinder. That's about all I can think of. I'm sure there are other, somebody else will jump in there. Mattis, UT, ran into some China junk, bought a dryer for my 84 D150 AC. The studs were not square with the flange. Surprise. The second one was slightly better, but had to straighten out one stud, but finally got us a seal. I've had it, you know, it's funny because it's like the heater parts, like you can't get a heater core that fits anymore. You get a heater core, and no matter what it's for, it's just that you go to put it in, it's always just off, just enough that you have to bend the tubes just to the point that you're ready to hit them like snap. But yeah, that's common, man. The quality control in certain things like under dash parts is really bad. Colin says, ever use a speedy sleeve on an 8 3/4 rear pinion seal 742? No. I've always just changed the seal. It's not bad to change them. You know, it's not a big deal. Alan Paul, Tony, is it normal to feel and see some visual play in connecting rod to floating wrist pin? Not really. I mean, if you are going to see it, it's going to be like tiny. If you can actually move it, like, and feel movement there, check. I mean, break out. That's where you break out the micrometers, and then you start checking clearances. You shouldn't really feel it. Excuse me. Zero says, let's keep it cars here, gentlemen. And we have ladies too. And I'm sure some that are in between. And I'm good with them. And funny shit's actually funny. Yes, you will be judged. Uncle Kathy is always judging.
Am I really?
She
I'm
judges
really not.
everybody
I'm always
by
judging
every
her.
comment, and her opinions change literally by the second. So yeah, be aware of that. You're always being judged by Uncle Kathy.
Not really. Okay.
Cheating is competing, and you are right. Cheating is competing. Cheating is the purest form of competition. Well, it is. Love your channel, but do you have any plans on getting any hardcore GM guys? If a hardcore GM guy rolls into my door, I am all about him. Yeah, absolutely. In a brotherly way, of course.
Using the new video program. Yes.
Yes.
It's very helpful.
Do you like it?
Do you like it? Easier.
I still have a surprisingly large number of teeth left.
Yeah. Okay. Funny. Here. Oh, sorry. I did the wrong one. Here.
Let's talk about the 197300H Hertz. Hearst. Cool car. Okay, next.
You know somebody with one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I have, there's a guy I know that has one, like literally returning to its basic elements in his backyard. It's beyond, you can't do anything with it.
Cranfish.
Oh, I got my Clifford manifold and it's kind of a piece of shit. I mean, maybe quality control isn't all it's cracked up to be. I don't know. I mean, dress it out best you can and run it. Good luck. This is why I don't like to endorse anything.
Why?
Because the quality control varies from, I mean, he may have a real turd there. That's not to say that the next guy is going to have one. But if I had endorsed that manifold, he would have been like, you made me buy this piece of shit because I listened to what you said. You're a thief. Oh, God. Okay, Danny Highland. Tony, I got a screw I can't get out of the side of the air horn of a dual jet 210. Oh, brother, man. I don't know. I can't even picture the screw that you're talking about. I know the dual jet carburetor, but what screw? What time should we time Dakota out?
To viewer pool.
Okay. Michael Glass says Clifford has went to hell since the father died. They're really bad to not ship items, always bought them used. Yeah, I've always bought those things used too.
I don't know what this means, but I'm not viewing.
Okay, let's see. Felis Concolor, rare earth magnets on a pickup wand. Well, I mean, they use the rare earth magnets in like race car magnetos now, like those 44 amp mags that they use. I mean, I don't know very much about it.
It's called StreamYard. We really like it.
In a brotherly way, of
Yeah,
course.
if you have a channel, I recommend it highly.
Okay. Mike Hanna's 261 Canyon Hopper. I'm sorry, dumb question here. Should 360 push rods have holes in the ends? Pull some out, but there is no holes even after cleaning. No, an LA motor should not have any holes in it. And you will run into issues, okay? You will run into issues. All of the replacement lifters now are oil through. Okay, so if you look, okay, the stock LA lifters, stock big block lifters, LA lifters, Slane 6 lifters, okay? If you look at the cup, right, that the push rod fits into, the stock ones have no oil hole. All of the ones available today have an oil hole there. If you use a hollow push rod, and all of the push rods out there today are hollow. If you use a hollow push rod with the oil through push rod hole, and you don't block off the rocker shaft oiling on a Mopar, you will have oil pressure issues. But no, the stock ones there should not have holes in them.
Do you need more coffee or you're on it?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're on it again?
I'll tell you half hour ago.
You okay? Can you read that?
Oh. Do you like the 67 Monaco? The grill is so evil. I like the taillights better. Yeah, I do. I love the 67 Monacos. They're nice looking cars. And they had this interior. It was like this basket weave interior, right? I don't know. Have you seen that? It's a crazy thing. I think it only came in like a burgundy and tan kind of color. It was like a two-tone, but it was like a basket weave, actually like made out of like straw, right? Crazy interior they had in that car. I think it was a 67. Happy Easter, Matt. Thank you.
Happy Easter.
I am going to have a blast with it for sure. After I do a lot of struggling and cursing and screaming at it, but yes, I will have a blast with it. Okay. Okay, question, Thumper. If I run grape jelly in my differential, will the transmission make the Earth spin the other direction so a Hershey bar will orbit faster? No. Why would the Earth's rotation have to do with the speed of an orbiting Hershey bar? That doesn't make any difference. It's going to rotate. It's going to orbit at the same speed regardless of rotation.
Okay, do you want a Chickenwalker Ranch race team? Sure.
Let's get a little bit further along. Excuse me. Oh my God. No, you know what? I'm not gonna have coffee because as soon as I'm done with this, I am gonna pass out, and I don't want to sit there with the coffee like just being all wired and shit. I'm good. Okay. Dodge 4x4. Can you swap a slant six cylinder head from an 81 or newer on an older solid lifter engine if you swap the rocker assembly? Yes. The valve cover is different too, But yeah, you can use the hydraulic cam cylinder head on an earlier motor if you use the actually you don't even have to swap the rocker assembly, come to think of it. You can use the stock rocker assembly. My 2011 Camaro V6 is getting up to 252 degrees. Is that overheating? That's hot, man. That's hot. What's it supposed to run at? I would think 220 is supposed to be about right. Yeah, that's running hot, man. Douglas Tyler, is there a certain size for restriction on an LA motor? There is, but off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is. I'm sure somebody here knows. He's talking about restricting. He's talking about restricting the oil to the rockers. There's a passage in the block that feeds from the cam bearing that oils through a passage in the block through the head to the rockers, and you want to restrict that somewhat. If you're oiling through the push rods, if you're oiling the rockers through the push rods, you don't have to do that at all. But yeah, off the top of my head, I don't remember what the ideal restriction size is. Ace Vaughn, if I want to add sticky back insulation, should I remove the factory tar stuff first? Ace, I've never used that stuff. I don't know. I would think, yeah, it would probably go over the factory. See, I don't know. I'm not a big insulation guy. I tend to take all the insulation out of my cars. All my cars sound like tin drums. You dunk. You put your foot on the floor, dunk, dunk. So it's like, I'm not really an insulation guy. Using deep pans, have you ever seen power gains by not running max recommended oil level. If you've got the oil level out of the path of windage, right, where then there's not going to be any difference, except perhaps stacking, and that would all depend on the baffling of the pan. So, what I mean to say is this: you've got, let's say, you've got an 8-quart pan. You put 6 quarts in it. If that oil is able to get over the baffling and stack up at the back of the crankshaft, which is the problem you have on acceleration, and that's where you're going to see a robbing of power, then taking oil out would be an improvement. So running 5 quarts instead of the 6 would probably, because it's one less quart that's going to get caught up in the back of it. But if the oil pan you're dealing with is sufficiently baffled, where you don't have that, then no, there wouldn't be any difference in the amount of oil that you have in it.
Oh, Wendy got her order. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh,
Wendy.
nice.
We appreciate it very much. Just telling you need pizza and KFC. Because you're so sleepy.
I'm ready to just pass out right now.
Let's see.
Oh.
Tony, stop yawning. You right?
Doug Richards, did you road test C4 Corvettes back in your magazine days? Yes, I did. And is the Doug Nash 4+3 train strong enough to power shift without blowing up? And yes, it is. I was the tech editor for Vet magazine. So for a couple of years, I was like surrounded by vets. I've always had vets around me.
Like that red one that you tested, right? I couldn't get out of it. I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll tell you, Kat, do you keep a notepad and pencil by the bed in case random ideas pop up in the room? Like, no. I don't. Random ideas my head is full of ideas all the time, and they're all random. But if I write them down, I destroy them. So, because as soon as I write something down, I lose interest in it. So I have to have it. I have to have the mystery of it to be interested in it. If that makes any sense. That's why I can't make lists. Is Lucas Oil additive worth it? The auto parts were displayed from my childhood didn't lie to me, did they? The Lucas Auto parts, the Lucas Oil stabilizer thing, right? I fought with an oil representative over this, like where it just about almost came to blows. Okay, I tried to explain to him that is the exact opposite. So if you're not familiar with this, what it was a crank that you turn, right? And this was a display, and on the one side it had regular oil, and on the other side it had Lucas stabilizer. Okay. And there were cogged gears, right? That sat in a puddle of oil. On the one side was Lucas, on the other side was regular oil. And you turn the crank, and you would see that on the Lucas side, the oil would climb all the way to the top of the gears. And on the regular side, the oil only climbed up like a gear and a half. And I'm like, that is the worst thing you could possibly have going on in your engine, because that's true windage. If the oil doesn't want to let go of itself, instead of having like random splashes here or there, you're going to have solid ropes that have the consistency of rubber just slamming around in your crankcase. So yeah, those Lucas Oil displays showed what you don't want your oil to do. Chucky Furley, what's the advantage of those Lenco racing transmissions that use 2 torque converters? I am not familiar with that. I'm familiar with Lencos. I had one, but I'm not familiar with the 2 torque converters. Jackpot. I have a 440 industrial motor. Can I switch to a normal 440 with cylinder heads and intake? Yes. What other stuff do I need? Probably not much else. Most of the industrial motors are front sump oil pans, so you would have to swap it to a car pan and a car pickup. And throw a windage tray in. Those motors didn't have windage trays, but no, that should be it. Other than that, put it all together and drive it.
Big Bear says, please hit the like button for us.
Thank you.
Guys. Thank you, Big Bear.
Nigel Carruthers, have you ever seen the fuel pump eccentric on a 318 wear out prematurely? Had two friends it happened to, one with a dart and one with a satellite like yours. Cars ran fine with an electric pump. No, I've actually never seen one of those wear out at all. I have seen lately the fuel pump quality control and mechanical fuel pumps has been horrible. And I have had a couple of them in recent times that weren't staged correctly. So when you put them in, there just wasn't enough movement against the eccentric to actually make the pump function. And I know this was the case because I slotted the holes, slid the pump up, and it worked just fine. So that's probably what it is. I've never actually seen one of those eccentrics go bad. I can't ever recall seeing one with a groove dug into it. You can always see a shiny spot where the fuel pump arm is riding against it, but I've never actually seen one groove out. NJ Heflin, I have a dwell meter that I found it in an estate sale. Probably never use it. Can you use it? I'll send it. I have a couple of them. I got one here at the house. I got one at the shop. I do appreciate that. I really do. But save the postage. Maybe somebody here would put it to good use. But I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Six Garage. Are there any Oldsmobile fans in here? I'm one. I love Oldsmobiles.
They're talking to each other.
Okay.
Danny Boy likes Oldsmobiles.
It's hard to not like Oldsmobiles.
Buff So Campbell says, somebody stole my 12 meter.
It wasn't me, Buff.
Did you steal Buff's 12 meter?
I did not steal Buff's 12 meter.
Are you sure?
I am positive. I have Buff's scales, but he left them there.
Right.
Well, maybe you could send it to Buff. Buff could use a dwell meter. Give me a check. Stephen Kerr, building 318 stroke to 390, 45 lift, Voodoo Cam, Street Master Heads. What do you think? I think you need more cam than that. I mean, that 390, I mean, you're only giving the lift. You're not giving a duration. You're not giving a lobe separation. But I'm assuming if everything else is in line with it being a 85 lift cam, it's not going to be quite enough. If you look at lifts in the 550 range, and I couldn't really give you a recommendation as far as LSA iteration because I don't know what use you're going to have for it. But that 45 would work great on the 318. Once you stroke it out to the 390, it's going to want some more. Send it to Tony. He'll put it in my new office. All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
That is if Kathy doesn't take it out of your office and put it in her office.
I might put it in my office. Happy Easter, guys.
Yes. Happy Easter, everybody, and happy Passover. Wayback Tech, does altitude play a factor when choosing a carburetor to CFM? No. Not CFM. Definitely jetting. But no, I mean, and there might be other people have different opinions on that, but I would say that the CFM is more direct relation of the amount of air the actual pump, the motor, is going to flow versus the density of the air. The density of the air is more of a jetting thing.
Puff 12 meter fund. Thanks, Hobarden. You gotta give Buff $2 for this one.
I'll give Buff $2 as soon as I see him.
Don't forget.
At the shop. It's at the shop.
He says he hates to see it go to waste.
Bruce, why is mechanical secondaries preferred over manual transmission? Is it vacuum slow to respond? Yes. It's not so much a problem out of the hole, but if you lift it all, if you straight on power shift through all of your gears, yeah, then the vacuum secondary carburetor is fine. If you granny shift or lift at all in between those gears, then yeah, that recovery rate is going to cause a bog. Is the duster going to the shop? The green one? No, it has no reason to. It's just here. Muscle, ever mess with a real L88 427? Not that I recall. Not that I recall. Chris Greenaway. I'm still looking for that 72 Mercury Montego GT for you. How do you feel about the gentleman's muscle car like Mercury's or Buicks? A lot of car guys hate them. Why is this? I don't know. I like them. Any thoughts about a turbo for the slant Miata? Doing a slant steering with a turbo EFI. Wow, slant steering. Excellent. That's very cool. As I explained before, for expediency's sake, right? Because eventually I want a 5-speed in the car, and I'm picturing this thing with Webers. I really want to see a 170 with Webers on it and shit. You know, I want that whole like sports car sound and experience. But for expediency's sake, just so I can get the car together and running, proof of concept and all of that, and get over the hurdles, I'm putting it together with a Super 6 and a torque flight. But it will eventually get a manual transmission, and it's a possibility, a turbo. I don't know, but first I just want to get the car running. You know what I mean? Before the end of this year, I want to be able to take the car out and just go screw around with it a little bit. So for expediency's sake, it won't have anything exotic right now. Next year, who knows? Johnny K, saw in the latest Miata video that you plan to clearance the firewall several inches. In that case, why angle the radiator since you're cutting the firewall anyway? What's it called? Well, I don't have to angle the radiator. Okay, when I first made all of the measurements, when I measured the slant 6, I measured the engine compartment, and I could see where all I would have to do is angle the radiator to get it in the stock location. But then, after we pulled the old motor out, I realized that the sway bar and the factory sway bar mounts are like, they would be level with, let's say, the water pump, and they would actually be like in the middle of the water pump. So the only way I could keep the factory sway bar, the factory geometry, because I mean, I guess I could relocate it, but I'd rather not. It's better to just set the motor back. So I know I won't have to angle the radiator. The radiator can go in straight up, just the way it is, and I can retain the stock sway bar if I just move the motor back. And moving the motor back is the way to go because it'll move that weight closer to the middle of the car. So while I'm adding like 150 pounds to the nose of the car, at least it'll be back and distributed a little bit better. Did I answer that?
I don't know.
I don't even know. I don't even know anymore.
I'm not paying attention. Are you?
Okay. Xavier Lopez. I have an electrical problem with my 81 El Camino. When I turn the right turn signal on, when my headlights, they either flash slow or not at all. Should I look at the turn signal switch first? No. You should look at the bulbs. 81, you still have 1157s in there, and there's a possibility that the filament, one of the filaments, either for the high beam or either for the stoplight or the tail light, one of those two filaments inside the bulb is probably touching the other one. Check the bulbs first. Rachi Pinata, thank you, sir. Are there any features that GM Ford V8s have that you wish Chrysler had added to their design? That's a damn good question. I love that question because I can't answer it. I love that question because I can't answer it quickly, right? That's something I really would have to dwell on, right? And I'm sure that there are. But I couldn't tell you what they are immediately off the top of my head. But yeah, that's a really good question. Thank you for that. Now I'm going to lay awake tonight trying to think of what features, and it'll probably turn into a video.
You like dream?
That's the kind of stuff that yeah. Now I'm going to run through the whole roster of General Motors and Ford and even AMC Motors and compare them to, patio furniture. Please make a video of you removing all the unnecessary crap from the Miata. I'm going to make videos. There will be series of videos. And yeah, I'll cover all the stuff that I'm pulling out of there. You don't really want to see me kneel at the side of the car like I did today for 3 hours with a razor blade, cutting through harnesses and sorting out wires, do you? I mean, that's not really an entertaining video. Kyle Teal, thank you, sir. On the maroon slant six drag car. Maroon? Oh, it's not maroon. It's red primer. Yeah. Why not slot 2 holes in a couple of places, removing the rectangle piece for weight loss? Aesthetics. Just aesthetics. The holes look cool. Taking out the middle, making it oblong. Well, not only would that weaken the overall structure, because, Swiss cheesing isn't new. I didn't invent this. This was been done for zillions of years. But yeah, I have 2 reasons. A, aesthetics. It just looked weird. And B, it would weaken the overall structure.
He says, please, I'd love to listen to your take on this topic. You're not going to sleep now, right?
Rachel, listen to me, right? No, I'm serious, okay? You asked me a very deep question, okay? Like, that's something that I really would have to sit. I mean, I would love to, seriously, I would love to just spit out, right? But you asked me a very deep question. That's something that, like, really goes back in my head, and I'm going to have to sit and really think about it. And I will, because that's the kind of thing that I think about. Danny Boyd, did the guys who took the engine and take the transmission? Yeah, they grabbed the motor and the trans. Told me, you take it out, you got to get it out of here, and it's got to be out of here today. And they were like, let's do it. It took them about an hour, and they had the thing all out of there. Stall converter. What is the correct way to work out stall? On net seems rule of thumb 500 RPM above cam lowest RPM spec. You can't really go by that because just because a cam is spec'd to work at a certain RPM means that it's going to work at that RPM in your car. Different gearing, different weight, different traction capabilities. There's so many different variables. I mean, you could ballpark your initial, so let's say you're putting together a car from scratch, right? You'd have never run this car before. You have no idea what it's going to be. That's not a bad rule of thumb. It's a starting point. The problem with that is that rule of thumb, if you're really looking to optimize what you've got, is going to lead to you buying a second converter that's going to be optimized. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. There's nothing and see, like, that's the process I got to start now with Plan Z. I would have done it today. I had planned on doing it today. I got to learn how the car needs to be launched, right? I don't care what the 60 numbers are or anything like that. I have to find out how the car wants to leave the starting line. So that's one of the things, and so I already have the converter in there, but I don't know how it wants to be driven. So trial and error. It's all trial and error. Oh my God, I'm out of water.
I have water.
Oh. Thank you. 318 block, 360 crank, 349 cubic inch. What pistons do you use? I don't know, man. Go call a piston manufacturer. Any piston manufacturer will be able to hook you up with that. There you go. Mike N. My fuse box is rusting in a 65 Chrysler. I've had that happen. That's a pain in the ass. Are the aftermarket blade type worth installing? And would you reroute the wire through the firewall? All right. Me, I would not. I would do two things. If you're worried about, as long as you've got a good fusible link, okay, as long as you've got a good fusible link in the charging system, there's no reason to reroute the alternator wire. I myself would not use a blade type. That's not saying that you shouldn't use a blade type. I myself wouldn't, because I'm an insane purist. I mean, I have these sick ideas in my head and unrealistic standards. You know what I mean? So me myself, I would not use it. But I have had that. That's common, where the holders, the fuse holders, get all rusty and shit, and then you get these sporadic connections. And I've taken them apart. I did one not too long ago, maybe about a year ago or so, on my GT. I took it out of the car, and I soaked it in white vinegar overnight. And then I got in there with small brushes and cleaned the contacts really good. And then I coated everything with dielectric grease, and I stuck the fuses back in, and I haven't had a problem since. So, cookie. What about a small aluminum radiator for Plan Z? It would be lighter than the copper one and hold less coolant, which would also be helpful with the weight. The one that's in the car now, you're not going to find a smaller, lighter radiator than that. I mean, an aluminum one might save a pound, but it's a tiny radiator. It's 2-core. It's this. It's a 2-row core. It's this wide. The whole cooling system holds exactly 2 gallons. And I wouldn't want any less than that because I want to maintain an even temperature for it. Steve Mills, intercooler or no intercooler with torque storm supercharger on a 5.9 Magnum? It depends on how much boost you're going to put through it. I think they ship those things set for like between 7 and 9 pounds. And I don't really think you need an intercooler at that. I did a torque storm installation on a Slant 6. And yeah, the air coming out of that thing is it's warm. It's not hot. But I think if you started really spinning the thing and you got up into the 12-15 psi range, then yeah, I would say an intercooler is probably not a bad thing to do. Cole Kruger, importance of torque converter selection on mostly street car. How much can too low of a stall or too high of a stall contribute to something being a total slug? Stock torque converter, okay for many applications. Okay, you're not going to find this. Too much of a stall will never turn a car into a slug. It'll make it a little more difficult to drive in traffic. Let's just say, you're going to get a lot of slip. But too high of a stall won't ever make a car a slug. It just won't make it happy to drive. Too low a stall, holy shit, you have no idea. Remember, the biggest part of your ET is in that 60 foot. And too tight a converter, especially with a tight cam, you know what I mean? A big cam, big carburetor, you're throwing away so much bottom end torque that you could take literally, there could be 3 seconds of ET there between a too tight a converter and one that's sized properly for a motor. You have no idea how important that is. Dustin Greer, I have a 5.7 Hemi 2015, has a tick. It's not lifter or manifold. Please help me. What could it be? Ram 1500. It's coming from the top of the engine. Well, why do you say it's not a lifter? If it's not a lifter, that would, I mean, and it's coming from it feels like the top of the motor. It could be a piston noise. It could be a cracked skirt or pin noise, which I would rather have a lifter tick. Thumper, I see what you're saying. Too much stall slips and makes a ton of heat. Bigger isn't always better. Yeah, but he's talking about acceleration. Too big of a converter. If you got, let's say you put a 4,500 RPM converter between a stock, behind a stock 350 Chevy, let's just say, it's not going to turn it into a slug. I mean, it's the thing's going to hit a lot harder than it would with the stock converter, but it would just be miserable to drive. Man of consistent sorrow. Can you concrete a 318 block for stability? Does it end up with hot spots in the block? Is it worth it? I've never done it. I mean, yeah, people have. Um, a half fill is relatively common, and as long as the coolant is flowing around through the heads, you know what I mean, and the top of the deck, you shouldn't have any problems with hot spots.
John Albert says he's heard fuel injectors at 6.
Pretty loud. Yeah, he's right. Try doing that. Unplug the fuel injectors one at a time and see if the tick goes away.
Yeah, he's saying, oops, hold on.
Yeah, good tip. Good tip. So try that. Try unplugging each of the injectors as the engine is idling and see if the tick goes away. Thomas Birch, I'm a weight freak like you. I can't afford titanium, but drill bits are cheap. How crazy can you get with drilling stock upper control arms? If it's a drag car, pretty crazy. You don't really need a lot of metal there, you know. I mean, obviously, don't get too crazy with it, but yeah, you can pull a lot of weight out of them. Thumper, Tony, it depends on the engine. My 455s only have 6,000 RPM to play with. Going to a 3,500 stall wastes all the torque it makes below that. A 5,000 only uses 1,000 RPM. How big the engine is matters as much as. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna stick with it. The too loose a converter is not going to make it feel like a slug. But you are right. You are giving away some away. But I mean, I've driven cars that were over converted. You know what I mean? And you know, or you get a car that's set up and it's got like a 4,000 RPM converter, and the motor's out for whatever reason. So you throw this other stock motor in there, and I mean, it's happened through the course of my life, and you know, I can't ever recall saying, "Oh, that's just way too much converter." You know, when you stuff it, I've said it's way too much converter when trying to pull out of a parking space or pull up a driveway. You know what I mean? An inclined driveway or something like that. But I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. John Trudell, UTG, please tell my kids Carter and Courtney can go to Carter, Courtney, what are you doing? Now, get in bed. Was that good, John? You kids, I'm not playing around. I'll sell you to the circus tomorrow. I have a way with children.
Yeah, you do.
Here will tell you my leaf springs are flat. My 70 CUDA. What's a decent source to get new stocker ones? Does anybody have a suggestion for GM here? Because offhand I can't think of a particular supplier that I would use. I mean, you know, Google is your friend, man. Just price match stuff. I believe they're all going to be made by the same manufacturer. They're just going to be distributed by different people.
You got Jupiter Mustang Mike running up the steps. 2 hours now.
Charles Watson. Will going 60 over on a bore, 68,302 cause heating issues. Block was bored 40 by a previous owner, but machine shop says it has to go 60 over to clean up. It's possible, man. It depends on how solid how even the core is. You know what I mean? You might want to. I mean, here's the thing, right? It costs you almost as much to sonic check a motor as it would cost to just get another block to start with. So it's got to be bored anyway. Man, I would flip a coin. I would flip a coin. Yeah. I have a way with children. I've often thought about doing a children's show. Just called "What the hell do you think you're doing?"
Yeah.
That was Uncle Tony's. What the hell do you think you're doing?
No. I think I said that to Katie last night.
Cole Kruger. What's the thought process behind? Yeah, I'm out of thought processes. What's the thought process behind set your total timing and initial ends up where it ends up? I see so much as your initial timing figure not critical for getting off the line. You want to narrow, right? So like you want maybe 20 degrees total amount in advance, but setting total timing is more important than setting initial timing, because if you're setting for power, okay, setting your total timing will never leave you too retarded on the initial. You know what I'm saying? So it's just better to set the total, and then where the initial is, it is. But ideally, you really don't want more than a 20-degree spread. So if you're shooting for 34 degrees total, you want 14 degrees initial. But that's a matter of closing up the advanced weights. We're doing whatever you have to do, depending on the type of distributor or type of ignition system that you're using. You want to keep it to about a 20-degree spread at the most.
Oh, the dog's gone crazy. Yes, we did.
Oh yeah.
A while back.
It's inside.
It's inside.
I have the letter from Susan Wojciechowicz. Yeah. Says you are a special person.
Right.
You've done special things in a special way. And here's your special letter. Okay. Ryan Barsness. I'm trying to get my 1872 Charger running a little better. It's a stock 73,440. Any thoughts on timing? I'll be doing more vids on the car soon. Well, I'll go back to what I was talking about with that last guy, right? 440 initial time or total timing, you want to set it for about 34 degrees total. And but timing, with low compression 440, timing actually does make a big difference. You will feel that. Okay, GM, you got good answers on that leaf spring question. Excellent. I knew somebody would be able to help you there. Okay. Indrek, hi. Okay, let's see here. It's a good question. Mr. Boots 06H. Okay, I have a completely new ignition system. Why, after running for around 3 minutes, do I have a weak spark? Tried new coil, ballast, points, distributor, plug wires, etc. 1980 302 Ford. Where are you picking up the power to the? Okay, so you put a ballast resistor in there, right? But what are you feeding the ignition off of? Because that 1980 Ford has a resistor wire from the ignition switch that would normally go to the hot side of the coil or the hot side of the ignition system. So if you're running a ballast resistor and that resistor wire, that's your problem. You need a non-resistor 12-volt source from the key to the ignition system, and then a ballast resistor. There's no resistor wire. So going into the coil, when your coil is when your spark is getting weak, is the voltage into the coil staying consistent? And how weak does it get? Kyle Keel, the pink wire in the dash. Yeah, that's the resistor wire, but he's saying that there's no resistor wire in there. It won't start. What kind of voltage do you have to the coil? Janssen 50H probably has a ton of accessories running off their power supply. That's possible too. Bottom shot, he's saying that he changed the coil and he's having the same problem. Yeah, we were all just debating on this. Okay. Uh-oh, it stopped. Hey, oh man, we've been on for over 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Hey, guys, listen. I didn't realize we went over 2 hours now. I'm going to call it a night because I got a ton of shit to do tomorrow morning. I got to get up early and crank. So we're gonna Mr. Boots, good luck with that. So guys, John Wilburn and his channel, don't forget, go subscribe to John Wilburn's channel. He has video of me breaking something else on Bottle Rocket. Go figure, right? So he just put that up today. So if you want to see Bottle Rocket break something else, go watch that. Ari, Fubar, Zero, Armad's greatest people in the internet that the internet has ever known. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Everybody who contributed through Super Chat, thank you. Those contributions are what keeps the wheels turning, the projects moving forward around here. Thank you so much. And everybody who just contributed with good conversation. Thank you. And happy Easter, everybody. Happy Passover, everybody. And that's it. I think that's it, right?
That's it.
We can end now? Can I stop? Can I please stop? Okay. Love you guys.
Good night,
All right. See you tomorrow. End broadcast.